What's goody? Hey man, so today we are back again with another video today, bro. And as today is the start of the NBA season, a day that I have been waiting for so long. This is a day that is more anticipated for me than the release of 2K, than the start of the NFL season, than the start of the college football season, than anything other than like major life events or something like that. Like, this is one of the most anticipated dates of the entire year for me every single year. So before the season starts, it is NBA Day 1 right now. Let's go ahead and let's get into my 2025-2026 NBA season predictions. And I'm going to start this video off with some notes right now. First of all, the first thing I'm going to say, what I'm predicting in this video is going to be every award and then the playoff seedings 1 through 8 and the champion. I am not going to be doing all NBA teams. I am not going to be doing all-stars. I'm not going to be doing anything like that. I'm not going to go too in-depth into everything here, because I think that's the thing I'm going to dive into more in the next offseason maybe, is like, hopefully by then this YouTube has gotten some more traction, and then by then I can maybe like have something where I kind of plan out my offseason a little bit more, to where it's like maybe once a week, it's almost damn near like a podcast episode that's coming out, like maybe what one random day of the week, every Friday, every Wednesday, every Monday or something, just one day of the week, where it's like, boom, here's this ranking going into the next season, here's this ranking, and here's this prediction, and here's this video idea about guessing something for the next season. Here's one thing every team should be excited about. Here's one thing I'm worried about for every team. I kind of want to do that next offseason. This was a busy offseason for me. As y'all know, my daughter was born. I got engaged. A lot of things happened during this time, so yes. But yeah, like I said, I'm doing all the awards. I'm doing the playoff seedings 1 through 8. I'm not doing the play-in. I'm not doing all-star. I'm not doing all NBA, and I am going to be doing the champion. I'm going to be doing top 3, what I believe is going to be the top 3, and then one dark horse for every single award. I did steal this from Numbers on the Board. I saw them do this, where they did their top 3 for every award and then a dark horse. I'm going to be stealing that idea, doing that here. Again, shout out to them. Also, congrats on the NBC deal, to the Numbers on the Board crew and all the Enjoy Basketball crew and everything like that. Now, this is a disclaimer heading into this video. This is a prediction of what I think is going to happen. This is not what I want to happen. So I used a combination of of logic and of like gut feeling / discernment here. So really it's mostly vibes, but some of this is logic as well. Like, no matter what my vibes tell me, OKC is going to be my 1 seed in the West, because like that just, genuinely, I think there's a 70% chance that OKC is the 1 seed in the West, at least. Like, I think at the very minimum, there's a 70% chance they're the 1 seed in the West. So, like, that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I like other teams in the West based off of vibes, but, like, come on now. At a certain point, we do have to use our brain. So, I try not to get too boring or too safe with anything, especially if it was an award or a playoff seeding that, like, wasn't super set in stone. And I'm going to tell you right now, some things that you're going to see on my list are not some things that I've seen a lot of other people say. I'm not one of those people that just thinks this is going to be a super boring year. I'm not one of those people that thinks the East is going to be super boring this year. While I do think the East is going to be easier and more open, I do not think that necessarily means that it's going to be Cleveland, New York. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think it is. And while I think it could be, I don't necessarily think it will be. Because remember last year, everybody thought it was going to be Cleveland, New York in the conference finals. That didn't end up happening. So we'll see. To start this video out, man, we're going to start it out with the biggest. Should we start it out with the biggest award, or should we? Should I start? We're going to start it out with a smaller award first. The first award that I want to start it out with here is Sixth Man of the Year. Now, no, we're going to start it off with the MVP. What are we talking about? I'm not starting off with no damn Sixth Man of the Year. I'm starting it off with the MVP. I got Luka Doncic. Talk to me. Be mad. Argue with me if you want to. Listen, I don't care. This man just averaged 38-8 last season. I don't have any of these numbers right in front of me, by the way. This is not one of those videos like those ranking videos where I was going super in-depth into on-off stats and everything like that. I didn't do that. Like I said, a lot of this was just vibes, gut feeling, discernment type of stuff, and then minor use of my brain and some logic. You know, I don't like to use my brain too much. MVP Luka. Listen, man, with LeBron missing the first couple weeks of the season, I get it. That's not a significant period of time to where it's like LeBron's going to be out for half the year or anything, and we're going to have to see Luka carry for 6 months out of the season. But if this team with LeBron missing a few weeks out of the year just off rip is going to be a team that is going to be a top 3, top 4 seed in the West, like a lot of people think they can be, a team that has home court advantage going into the playoffs in the West, like people think they can be, like I think they can be, Luka's going to have to be an MVP type of player. And I think every single year we all recognize that Luka not just puts up the MVP caliber stats. And I think this is a year where he could really win it, where I think people are going to be looking at the Lakers. They're going to say, okay, their offseason was cool, but they lost some good pieces in DFS, and they didn't bring back anything that was like super crazy. They have a solid team, but it's not anything crazy. And when you have a 40-year-old LeBron that's missing time in the beginning of the regular season, everything like that, Let Luka go out there and damn near average a 30-point triple-double and let them be a top 3 seed. I guarantee you he going to get some MVP buzz. I guarantee you. And especially because Luka hasn't won one yet and he's always been in the conversation. It's like not similar to what happened with Joel Embiid, but do you remember what happened with Joel Embiid? He was runner-up like 3 years or like top 3, like 3 to 5 years straight, and then he finally just gets one. Eventually, Luka's going to just get one. And while I don't think this is going to be NBA voters just kind of giving him one, I do think that this is a great year for him to have an opportunity to just go out there and get one. Because like while Shea is the MVP, I wouldn't necessarily consider Shea like the most fan favorite type of guy in the NBA. Like I think Shea is still a pretty polarizing player in spite of the great season he just had. I think he's a player that a lot of people hate on, and I don't think. And while people love Jokic, people are going to be like, well, dude already won, 3 MVPs? You know what I'm saying? So I think Luka has a very good chance to win MVP this year. Going to tell you right now, I'm not going to go super in-depth into every single one of my top three guys and everything like that. But if it's something where it's like not a lot of people are agreeing with me, or it's like something where my take is sticking out a little bit, that's where I'm going to kind of elaborate more. Number 2 for MVP, I have Nikola Jokic. He's always going to be in the race. And honestly, if I was going purely based off of logic here, I would probably pick Jokic, to be real. Like, Jokic is always going to have the better numbers, always going to have the best numbers in the world, damn near. He's always going to be looked at as, if not the best player in the world, in the conversation for it at the very minimum. And he's just doing he's always going to be looked at as doing more on a worse team because he doesn't have a teammate to the caliber of LeBron James, even at 40 years old. And I think the Denver Nuggets could have a very, very, very high win total at the end of the regular season, and that is something that will help Jokic as well. Giannis, I have at 3. I don't really see this happening, but I would love it if it did happen. If Giannis went out there and had a season where he carries the Bucks to a top 4 seed, and they're damn near a 50-win team, or they are a 50-win team, and he's carrying them with this roster as it is today or something similar, he's the MVP. Do I think it'll happen? No. But he'll get votes either way. Like whether they get 50 wins or they're at 44 wins and they're the 7th seed or the 6th seed, I think he's going to get votes either way. And then my dark horse, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but my dark horse, Cade Cunningham. Again, it's a dark horse. I think there's probably almost a 0% chance this happens for me. And for one, I just don't think the Pistons are going to be a high enough seed for him to get any real buzz, but also I just don't think that his numbers, the counting stats for him, are ever going to be able to compete with like guys like Luka or Jokic. Like Cade can score all he wants to, but is he ever going to average a 30-point triple-double like Jokic and like Luka are? Now, don't get me wrong. If the Pistons get to a top 4 seed, he would definitely deserve the award, and I think a lot of people, including myself, would think of him as a deserving player of the award because this would be one of those seasons if they were able to get to a top 4 seed where it will be looked at as him carrying a team with not much help, and I think that is kind of like the real definition of an MVP. When I think of an MVP, it's like LeBron in 07, LeBron in whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like when I think of MVP, my immediate definition is a guy that is carrying his team, whereas without them, Steph Curry for the last couple of years, like a guy that is carrying his team to somewhere they would not be, and without him, they would be one of the worst teams in the league. If Cade Cunningham can get the Pistons to a top 4 seed, this would be one of those seasons for him, and I think that's why he's my dark horse. DPOI. Wembanyama, obviously. I think I don't have to say anything about that. Wemby's my number 1. I think he's going to win DPOI. If I had to look at the odds, it's probably like it's damn near probably like a minus 300. Like he's probably got that already in the books. Number 2, though. Anthony Davis. Let me tell you why. I think Anthony Davis genuinely has a phenomenal chance to win this award. And I think if Wemby didn't exist, I would probably bet on him to win it. I think this Dallas defensive front with him, Cooper Flagg, and then the combination of Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford is going to be phenomenal. And then even off the bench, you've got P.J. Washington, you've got Najee Marshall, you've got these guys. And Clay, while he's not the defender he once was, he's not. We'll actually skip over Clay defensively. When I think of possessions I watched of Clay defensively, we in the last 4 years, we can skip over him. But anyways, you understand what I'm saying. I think this team's defensive numbers are going to be good enough for him to get attention. And then when you look at Anthony Davis as a guy that has always been thought of as an all-world defender for his entire career, has always been thought of as a guy that is a DPOY caliber player but just never got one. If he's on a team that is really a playoff team, like damn near fight, it's got to be fighting for a top 5 seed probably. Got to be a top 5 seed probably, and you probably have to be the number 1 defense in basketball damn near, or number 3 defense in basketball, something like that. But if Anthony Davis is doing that and is anchoring that defense, Anthony Davis would very well have a very good chance to win the award for me. And then at number 3, this is a bit of a boring one, but it's Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley's always going to have a chance. He's always going to put up phenomenal numbers. He's always going to be the best defender on that Cavs team that is going to be a top 5 defense. It's that simple. That's going to be a team that's going to get 50 wins. They're going to be a top 5 defense, and he's going to be the star of that defense. Simple. My dark horse is a guy that has won it before. I'm not sure if you would call him a dark horse because he's a superstar, but I'm calling him a dark horse because I feel like I never hear his name in this DPOY conversation anymore, even though he is still a DPOY caliber player. It is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Listen to me. You know what Giannis is defensively, but I kind of feel like recently he's becoming a bit underrated, especially on that side of the ball. We know that Giannis is going to be the hub offensively for the Bucks, right? We know that. And if they want to be a top 4 seed, though, I would argue that they have to hang their hat on defense. And if they're going to hang their hat on the defensive side of the ball, Giannis is going to be the guy that's going to carry them there. Yes, Miles Turner might get more blocks, for sure. Kyle Kuzma might be the point of attack defender for some perimeter guys, especially if it's a guard, for sure. But Giannis is going to be the defender jumping off the page for that team if they are going to have a top 5 defense. Let this team get to a top 5 seed out east and have a top 5 defense, and I guarantee you Giannis will have some DPOY conversations. I guarantee you. Giannis is my dark horse here. And some other guys that I thought about. Amen Thompson I thought about here. The thing for me, I just don't know that he as a wing at this young is going to do enough to get enough love to win it, even though he came in like second last year. And then second of all, Asar Thompson, his brother. Again, I just don't know if he's going to do enough as a wing defender. I don't know if the Pistons defense is going to be good enough, and I don't know if the Pistons as a team are going to be good enough for him to get any real love, but I did think about him here. Rookie of the Year, Cooper Flag. Obvious one here. He's going to be on a very good team. He's going to have good counting stats. He's going to be an NBA player from day one. He's going to be a contributor on a very good team, competing for a playoff spot in a very tough Western Conference from day one. Number 2, I have Nick Clifford. I think he has a chance to put up like some of the best counting stats here. And granted, he'll be doing it on a Kings team, but like, you can't tell me that if Nick Clifford's good enough and this team currently is constructed can't be a play-in team. You can't tell me the Kings can't be a play-in team even without Nick Clifford being anything special. So let Nick Clifford have a good season. Let him put up some good counting stats. Let him look like a good player for the Kings. Let him look like a bright spot for the Kings fan base and just for the Kings franchise. And I think he'll have some good Rookie of the Year buzz. And I think he's just an older guy. He's an NBA-ready guy. And I think those are the type of guys that you always have to look at for Rookie of the Year because the counting stats from jump are always going to give them such a leg up over younger guys like Ace Bailey that may take some more time. Number 3, I couldn't decide here, so I have a number 3 and a number 4. I have VJ Edgecombe, and then I have Trey Johnson. I think I have Trey Johnson above VJ Edgecombe. Let me tell you why I have VJ Edgecombe here, though. The Sixers could be a bad team, and if the Sixers are going to be a bad team, why would they not just go ahead and invest in the youth? Why would they not go ahead and try to figure out which of these guards is going to stay? And I think the defense of VJ Edgecombe, as well as just like the highlight plays that he's going to have because of his ability to play in transition, is going to be enough, especially just like, think about how loved this man is already with the nickname of the Generator, which is kind of messed up considering he was like, that's like his trauma, but whatever. Consider how loved this man already is. He's in a big market. He's going to be on a team that doesn't have much to live for. I mean, he's going to be on a team that has a fan base that feels like they don't have much to live for. Let him go out there and give that fan base some hope, and he'll get some Rookie of the Year buzz. And then Trey Johnson. I think Trey Johnson could very well be the best guard on this Wizards team this year. This is a team that I do not think has a clear point guard in any way, shape, or form, and I think Trey Johnson comes in this year, and I think with him and his three-point shooting, he adds a lot to this Wizards team, not just offensively, but also just like as with roster construction. They have, like, we don't even know who's their point guard going to be for the future. Bilal Coulibaly, Bub Carrington, who is their point guard going to be for the future? Right now, I think Trey Johnson has the best chance, and I think because of that, he has a chance to win Rookie of the Year, especially because I think his three-point numbers are going to be impressive. But the problem with the Trey Johnson Rookie of the Year campaign is that the Wizards are going to be so bad, he's probably not going to have a chance. So that's why he's like my third or fourth guy. And then my dark horse for Rookie of the Year is Jace Richardson, man. Don't get me wrong, this is a super small player. He might not even get a lot of burn at the start of the season, especially because the Magic are going to be trying to figure out what they've got with Anthony Black probably and Jet Howard and guys like this, right? But if he can come in and solidify himself as a backup one for Orlando and he can really be a top 2 shooter on that team behind Desmond Bane, he'll have a good chance to win the award. Orlando's going to be a good team. He's going to get a ton of credit if he can add three-point shooting to a team that has been begging for three-point shooting for years. And I think he's a really good fit alongside Paolo and Franz in that Orlando Magic team. And especially if Jalen Suggs goes down again, which obviously I don't want to happen, but if it were to happen, Jace Richardson could have a really big role on this team. If Anthony Black doesn't end up being the player that the Orlando Magic fans think he could be or want him to be, Jace Richardson could have an impactful year, especially towards the end of the season. Again, dark horse because I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a chance. Last two awards, and then Coach of the Year, and then playoffs and everything like that. Last two awards, baby. Most improved. I'm going to go with a pacer here. And I know everybody's been talking about Andrew Nembhard. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not on my list. My pacer is Bennedict Mathurin. Listen, when I watch Bennedict Mathurin, I see all of the talent, all of the athleticism, all of it's there. He just has to put it together. He's like one of those players to me that when I watched him in college, I thought this guy could be a superstar. And I don't think that anymore, but like Bennedict Mathurin could be an all-star. Bennedict Mathurin is a very good basketball player. He has all the skill sets. He has all the things you cannot teach. He is just a hooper. You just watch him play. He is just naturally a hooper, not to glaze too much. And he is going to have a tremendous amount of offensive opportunity, a tremendous amount of a green light this year, more than he's ever had in his career. And if the Pacers are going to be a team that's still going to be like a top 6 seed, but yeah, if Bennedict Mathurin and this Pacers team is going to be like a 5 seed-ish team, he's going to get some love for that most improved player thing. And if he can just up his points per game by like 4, which I think he can really do, especially if he gets a lot of minutes as a starter, which I kind of hope he does, he could very well win this award. Number 2 is a guy that I have a lot of faith in to win this award. Like, this is a guy that I think has probably like he has probably like a 30% chance to win this award if you were to ask me. Matas Buzelis, man. Like, her mom is with her. I don't know what's going on, but her mom is with her. I promise she's not alone. Her mom is with her. You're just going to have to deal with her for a second. Matas Buzelis, man, is a guy that I'm giving a lot of love to win this award next year. Let me tell you why. I think he can really make a push to be Chicago's best player next year. I don't think Chicago has anything super special on their team right now. I don't think Chicago's a super good team, and I think next year they might as well just go ahead and push to develop. You might as well just go ahead and say, give Matas more shots, and we don't give a damn about nothing else. Kobe White might get pushed out by the deadline, and I think if Kobe White does get traded by the deadline, which I think will happen, because there's teams like Houston that's going to be suitable for him, I think that will give Matas a lot more shots and everything like that. We know Matas is going to be a starter. We know he's going to get a lot of opportunity, and we know that he is an extremely, extremely talented guy. Don't forget, this is a guy that was mocked to be like first overall pick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, before he was drafted, I think he fell off because of his three-point shooting, from what I remember. But yeah, he's a phenomenal player, and I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he's got a big chance to win this award. And then at number 3, I've got it mixed between Amin and Ausar Thompson. The reason I've got a mix between them is because I think Amin Thompson is the better player, and I think he's the more loved player. But I think Ausar Thompson has the better chance to win the Most Improved Player award, because I think he has the better chance to see his stats take a massive jump because of the team he's on. Whereas Amin Thompson is going to have opportunity. Don't get me wrong, but like his opportunity is coming behind Alperen Sengun, and it's coming behind Kevin Durant. Whereas Ausar Thompson's really only officially 100,000% going to be second to Cade Cunningham, because we don't know what's going on with Jaden Ivey, and I think Jaden Ivey's out again for like the beginning of the season. So Ausar Thompson can really step up and be that number 2 option for that team this year, and we already know what defender he is. We already know what he does on that side of the ball as one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball. In fact, I would argue he's like better than his brother at just perimeter defense, just perimeter. So I think he's going to have a massive chance to win this award next year. And again, I think I'm going to put his chances slightly above his brother's, because I think he has a better opportunity for his stats to increase more dramatically, you know? And then my another Houston guy is my dark horse. That's Reed Sheppard. I don't believe in this at all, and I haven't watched much Reed Sheppard tape. Honestly, I haven't watched really any Reed Sheppard tape at all. So I don't really know how to gauge Reed Sheppard, but I'm not one of those people that's just believing that this guy can go from a G League player to being a real contributor for this team. But if he can go from a G League player that played 12 minutes per game last year to a real point guard for this Rockets team, and if he can be a shooter the way that he was shooting in preseason, and if this team can be the 50-win team we think that they could be, and this guy could be getting real rotational minutes as a point guard, and we see his stats jump up, we see his three-point efficiency go crazy, he could very well win this award. Let him be a contributing point guard for Houston, and he'll be in the top 3 just based off of that, because Houston's going to be such a good team, whereas Chicago's not going to be a good team, and Detroit is going to be a good team, but they aren't going to be as good as Houston. Indiana, they might be an okay team, but we don't really know what they're going to be or not. You know what I'm saying? So like Reed Sheppard has a chance because he has so much opportunity, because his team needs him so badly, and because his team is going to be so good that he's just like whatever small increase he sees in his stats is going to feel exponential to voters, because the team is so good, so they're going to try to argue impact and all that, which I can't blame them for if it happens. Anyways, 6th man. Give me Josh Hart for this one. I think Josh Hart is one of those players that is just like looked at as such a valuable piece. He's one of those guys that looked at as like any contender would love to have him, or like in the right system, he's like the perfect type of player for you. He's going to do everything that the Knicks need off the bench. But I don't know. I kind of don't believe in this as my number one, and I kind of think part of it just because like normally to win six man you got to score a lot. So I'm actually going to change this up mid video. I'm going to change my number one to Jordan Clarkson. My list before coming into this video, I'm laughing because I just moved this man up from my dark horse to my number one. My list before I came into this video was Josh Hart, DeAndre Hunter, Anthony Simons, Jordan Clarkson. I'm going to switch it to Jordan Clarkson, DeAndre Hunter, Anthony Simons, and Josh Hart. Because I think Jordan Clarkson has the potential to put up phenomenal numbers off of New York's bench. I think New York, as you are going to see here in a second when I tell you my standings, is going to be a very good team. I think their offense is going to be the best in the league, and I think Jordan Clarkson off the bench is going to be an extremely important contributing factor to that, and he is the exact type of mold of player that traditionally wins 6 Man of the Year, a scoring guard off the bench. That's what he is. Now, DeAndre Hunter is going to have the chance because he's going to be on a super good team. He's going to be a super impactful player. He's probably going to average 20. He's going to do everything that Cleveland wants him to do. His stats are going to be good. He's going to be impactful. Anthony Simons is going to have a chance because he has a chance to put up a lot of numbers on a Boston team that is depleted right now. He has a chance to make a lot of impact on a team that I at least don't think is going to be a very good team. And I don't think Anthony Simons is a bad player by any means. So don't be surprised if Anthony Simons goes out here and you see that like, oh yeah, the Celtics actually maybe did a smart thing by not being able to trade him quite yet. Which, even though I don't think he fits with them, I do think he could play his value up in Boston because I think Anthony Simons is a pretty good basketball player. Anyways, clutch player of the year. Anthony Edwards is my number one. I've got Anthony Edwards as number one because I don't think his team is very good, so I think his team is going to be in a lot of close games. Therefore, they're going to need Anthony Edwards to shine. I think Anthony Edwards is going to shine in those clutch moments more than he ever has. I think that is one of those things that often comes with maturity, and Ant's already a killer. We already know that. We already know how talented he is. We already know what he does to these teams, and I think his killer instinct is going to have to be on another level for this team to continue to be a 50-win team because this team got worse this offseason, being honest. Number two, I have Cade Cunningham, another guy whose team, in my opinion, got worse this offseason. I have him this high because another thing similar to Anthony Edwards. If his team got worse this offseason, they might be in closer games, and there's only one guy that team's going to call on in those close games, Cade Cunningham. We saw it in the playoffs last year, and last year it wasn't super efficient in the playoffs, but I think that's one of those things that Cade Cunningham might have seen, might have noticed, that even though he was taking over in clutch moments, he wasn't the most efficient at doing so, and that's something he might be better at coming into this season. And if he is, look for him to win this award. Because he is Detroit's offense, especially in the clutch. And you got to remember, that inefficiency in the clutch was going against New York's defense. He's getting guarded by OG and Mikal Bridges every possession. And then when they want to take a break, Josh Hart's on him. Number three, I have Paolo Banchero. I don't really believe this one because I just don't know that Paolo Banchero is really going to hit enough of like the game winners and stuff. But Paolo Banchero is a guy that can just take over a game and you can like blink your eyes and be like, damn, he just went on a 10-0 run, or like the Magic just went on a 12-0 run and he scored 8 of the points and had 2 assists. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see that from Paolo Banchero. And this is a Magic team that's going to be competing for a lot in the East. The problem is I just don't know that they're going to be in enough close games because I don't think that there's a ton of competition for them out East because I think they're one of the top 3 or 4 teams talent-wise out East. And then my dark horse is Donovan Mitchell. I low-key want this one to happen. I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan, and I feel like he's an underrated player. I feel like he doesn't get the award love that he deserves or anything like that. And I feel like he's always been an offensive engine for the Cavs, especially in the crunch time. So, like, if this team is going to be maybe just a little bit worse this year, which I'm predicting they will be, as you will see in my standings later, then I think we'll see them in more clutch games, and we'll see that Donovan Mitchell's superhero type of aspect come out a little bit more. The team is good on both sides of the ball, and they're in a weak Eastern Conference, so they probably won't be in a ton of close games, which is why he's just my dark horse. But if they are going to be in a ton of close games, Donovan Mitchell has a great chance to win this award as one of the best scorers in basketball. Last couple things now of a long video, Coach of the Year. I've got Mike Brown as number one. Can you tell I'm really high on the Knicks entering the regular season? I think this is a team that is going to go from a really good team to a great team in the regular season. This could be a 60-win team because of the offense. I think the offense is going to be number one in ball, like I said. I think you're going to see Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and especially Karl-Anthony Towns putting up career numbers or near career numbers. I think this team got deeper. I think this team got better. The Eastern Conference got weaker. Look, it's going to be tough for Mike Brown to win it because the team was already so good last year. But you fired Tom Thibodeau because he just couldn't take you to the next level. Mike Brown coming in and seemingly taking you to that next level in the regular season in year one would be Coach of the Year worthy, in my opinion. And I do think that new coach thing, that new coach boost, that new coach whatever the hell is a real thing. Number 2, I have JJ Redick, and this is tied in with my Luka MVP thing. I think this is going to be a really good team. I think JJ Redick is going to have a really good year as a coach. I think he is a really good coach as just like a basketball lover and a basketball like nerd. And I think he loves the game to where he's really been trying to key in and trying to figure out how can I best get Luka and LeBron the best shots that I can get them every time. How can I get Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves to score? How can I get DeAndre Ayton in lob situations? How can I get Rui Hachimura open corner threes? How can I make this team a team that is going to be mediocre on defense when we do not have any pieces that suggest we should be mediocre on defense? JJ Redick, I think, finds a way, and I think if this team is going to be a top 3 or 4 seed out west, which I predict, he will get a lot of love for this award, especially in the biggest market in the sport. Number 3, Quinn Snyder. I'm big on the Hawks this year. It's that simple. This team got better. I think Trae Young is going to have a phenomenal year, and I think if this team has the type of year that I think they're going to have, and when it comes to the Eastern Conference standings, he's not only going to get a lot of love for this award, but damn near might win it. My dark horse is Darko Rajakovic, and listen, you're looking at me as a Raptors fan, and you're saying, oh, Raptors bias, and you're not wrong at all. I cannot sit here and tell you that this isn't Raptors bias. I can't sit here and inherently say that this is not Raptors bias. But if we can go from a play-in spot, from a play-in team, from a team that was fighting for scrapping for the play-in, and not making the playoffs, to a top 6 seed, to a team that's playing well, to a team that's looking like you might not want to see us in the first round, to a team that figured out how to make the clunkiness work at the wing position, Darko would deserve a ton of buzz. It's a dark horse simply because the team isn't great, and because the team isn't great, and because of like that log jam at certain positions, and also because I just think there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the team roster right now. Like, will RJ Barrett get traded? Will blah 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 get traded? And then finally, any ascension they have of the Eastern Conference standings also very well could just be attributed to injuries on other teams, like the Pacers and the Celtics. I could very well see if the Raptors only go up to a 6 seed, people are going to be like, well, they only went up 3 spots from last year, and that's part of that's because 2 of the teams that were better last year lost more games. So there was extra wins to be had. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying. So, dark horse, don't think it's going to happen. One of the most unlikely ones on this list, but I would be happy. Needless to say. West playoffs, number 1, OKC as my 1 seed. Pretty obvious. I have nothing to say here. Denver, I have number 2. Again, this was pretty simple. This is a consistent 50-win team. They have the best player in the world, and I would argue the team just got better, the team just got deeper, and the team just got more complimentary through who Jokic is as a player. They might win 60 games. LA Lakers is my number 3 seed, and I think this might be where I start to lose some of y'all, man. With LeBron out for these few weeks, with the team not being great, blah, 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 don't get me wrong. The team may not be great, LeBron may be out for a few weeks. But this is a good team. This is a solid team. This is an okay team, and I have seen Luka do more with less than this. I saw him take it to the Western Conference Finals, and granted he had Jalen Brunson, but after that, it wasn't much there. I think another year of JJ Redick as the coach will lead to improvement, and I think better schemes and shots out of actions for Luka. I think better half-court offense for Luka, and I especially think better three-point shooting, better three-point shot generation for this team. Essentially, I think this team is good enough for Luka to be able to carry them. I think Luka is going to be back to his normal great self. I think this damn near could be the best season we've ever seen from him, especially with him coming into the season looking skinny. I'm not trying to put too much on that, but I do very well think that could be a very real thing. The scoring numbers, you know what his numbers are going to be. He's going to average damn near 30-point triple-double, and on a team where there's only 3 real options to consistently score the ball, and him, LeBron, and Reeves, he's going to hog a lot of those scoring numbers, and especially with him holding the ball so much, he's going to hog a lot of those assist numbers as well. Number 4, I've got Houston. Again, y'all knew they were going to be in the top 4, but it might shock you how low I have them personally. I think the loss of Freddie at point guard will be huge, and I think a lot of people are underestimating it, and I'm also expecting for the defense of this team to take a slight step back just because they're losing guys like Dylan Brooks and, you know what I'm saying, things like that. We don't know if Reed Chopper is going to be good defensively. We know Kevin Durant's not anything special defensively at the moment. We know Alperen Sengun's not great defensively, so that's like 3 of your top 6 or 7 guys, top 7 or 8 guys that like just aren't great defenders. But at the same time, the defense is still going to be good enough. So, like, I'm not saying this team's going to be trash or anything, but I just think if this team right now, if the roster is constructed like this the entire season, and also expecting that Kevin Durant will miss a few weeks of the season at some point just because he's older, even though I don't want it to happen, you kind of got to think in the back of your mind it's going to happen. I would say Houston would be the 4 seed barring any trade or anything crazy happening. Again, now if they go trade for Kobe White, depending on what the package is, maybe they go up. You never know. Number 5 seed, I have the LA Clippers. This is an old team, so injuries are definitely a concern, and we also don't know what's going on with Kawhi and the league and the suspension probability and everything like this. But, dude, you know James Harden's going to have this team in the playoffs. You know if Zubac can do what he did last year, this team is not just going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be a top 6 seed. They are very easily going to be outside of the play-in, and they could be higher than that if they have a healthy Kawhi, if they have just the top, just 8 of their guys stay healthy for the majority of the season, they'll be a 50-win team, in my opinion. 6, I have Minnesota. This is another one where y'all might be like, wow, this low, especially with Anthony Edwards. I'm not the biggest fan of this team, dude. We don't know what they've got at point guard. Is Anthony Edwards going to run the 1? Is Rob Dillingham going to be ready? Or are they going to run Dante DiVincenzo at the 1 and have Ant at the 2? We don't know what's going to be happening. I think Ant is good enough by himself to just have this team outside the play-in, especially because the roster's not ass. It's just not my favorite. So he's going to have this team outside the play-in. I just don't think it's going to be one of those where he's carrying them to a top 4 seed. I think the West is very loaded, and I think they are going to – I don't think they're going to be great, especially if Rudy Gobert takes a step back, if Rob Dillingham's not ready, if Mike Conley is – God knows what's happening with him. But look out for Terrence Shannon Jr., though. That's a guy that I think could be the Nickeil Alexander-Walker replacement. 7, I have Golden State. As long as Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond are healthy and playing, this team's going to make it. And then number 8, I have a controversial one here. I have the San Antonio Spurs. I'm switching it to the Dallas Mavericks. Give me the Dallas Mavericks. Listen to me. I switched it at the last minute. I'm going to tell you for one reason, the defense. I think the defense of the Spurs are going to be good too because they have Wemby, but give me Dallas to make it here because the team is just more well-rounded. Especially if Kyrie's able to come back at some point like around the play-in, they'll make it out of the play-in and get that 8 seed. I think if Dallas and San Antonio are both in the play-in and they got to play each other, Dallas wins that matchup, in my opinion, if they're both fully healthy teams. Or even if it's – I don't know, though, because the point guard concerns for Dallas are so real. Give me San Antonio, man. I'm going back to San Antonio. I do not want for Nico to be back in the playoffs. I don't want it to be the case because of the trade. I also think this is one of those years where it's kind of like Wemby's kind of got to start making it, if not making it, then getting real close to making it before people start to get to hating on him, barring injury and everything like that. But, dude, I'm going to another reason why I think the Wemby and the Spurs are going to make it, I think De'Aaron Fox is a really good basketball player. I think Carter Bryant could be a contributor, especially at the end of the season, especially to winning basketball at the end of the season. And I think Dylan Harper will help this team a ton. I think they can make trades that make this team better throughout the season as well, and I think that's why I'm going to pencil them in here because I'm not taking it as the roster as it's made today. I'm saying it's going to be the roster today with some tweaks because I think they're going to add some more people into that roster. Eastern Conference playoffs. So my West, I have OKC, Denver, LA, Lakers, Houston, Clippers, Minnesota, Golden State, and then San Antonio. In the East, I have New York. I don't think I need to say too much more about New York. I'm a big fan of this team. At number 2, though, I have Atlanta. I think Atlanta got a lot better, and I think with the healthy season from 8 or with a season where 8 or with wow, that was a bad one. With a season where they stay mostly healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league. I think they're one of the deepest teams in the league. I think Trae Young is one of the best guards in the league, and I think he reminds people of that this season. I am a big fan of Atlanta. I'm a fan of Quinn Snyder as a coach. I think Atlanta has a very good season this year. Cleveland, I think, takes a step back. Let me tell you why. I think last year things kind of started to break for Cleveland. I think last year, I think they're starting to kind of think internally like, yeah, it's 1 or 2 of these guys has to go. Like, I think they're at that point now where they know it. They just don't know who they want to trade or what package they want to get them for. But I think they're at the point now where they know one or two of these 4 guys has to go. And I think that is going to be a problem this season, and I think that is going to have them not be ass or anything. They're still going to be a 50-win team. I just think they're probably going to be under whatever their over-under is for the season. If it's like 58 or 56 or 57, I think they go under it. I think they'll be a 51-win team. So, 3 seed. Orlando. Very good team. I think they're going to have much better shooting this year. I just don't know that they're a good enough team or a consistent enough team to where I'm going to have them above any of these other 3 teams. Originally, I did fight with having like Cleveland, Orlando, Atlanta. Like these 3 were all really interchangeable for me in this spot. And then I gave Milwaukee some love too just because of Giannis. But I did end up going in this order just because it's like if I had to pick these teams and I had to really say, okay, which one of these would you see being the 3 seed? Which one would you see being the 2 seed? Which one would you see being the 4 seed? I see Atlanta being the 2 seed before I see it being Orlando. 5, I have Milwaukee just because of Giannis. 6, I have Detroit. I think that team got worse this year, but I think Cade is good enough to where they'll be a top 6 seed guaranteed. 7, I have Indiana because I think that team is still solid enough without Pascal Siakam. Without Tyrese Halliburton and without Miles Turner to still be a playoff team. And if they make the play-in, I don't think too many teams really want to see them out east because it's not too many great teams that are going to be in the play-in out east. Who you worrying about? You know what I'm saying? And you're going to notice I don't have the 76ers in here. If Joel Embiid's healthy for 50 games, for 40 games, they make it. But I don't know that he's going to be, so I can't put them in here. If he's going to be, they're a top 6 seed probably. If he's going to be healthy for 45, 50 games. They're a top 5 seed if he's healthy for 65, for 50, 40 to 50 games. But I don't think he's going to be, and I don't know if he's going to be. So Toronto's in there. I think Toronto's going to have a good defense. I think Toronto's going to have just enough offensively to where they can make it into the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. And I think in a play-in game, I take Toronto over pretty much everyone else in the East outside of like any of these guys above them in the standings. My champion, the Oklahoma Psych. Give me the Denver Nuggets, baby. I think they gave OKC the best fight last year, and I think that includes even the Pacers. I think they're the worst matchup for any team in the league because outside of Zubac, nobody can really do anything to Jokic. And even with Zubac on him, Jokic still averages a 24-point triple-double. There is no team, no true contender at least, that has anything that they can do to Jokic. We saw Jokic almost beat this team last year, damn near by himself. Now he has a more consistent shooter at his 3-man. He has a more consistent shooter and better all-around player, in my opinion, at his 3. He has a real backup 5, which he's never had. The team has more depth now than ever, and I think Bruce Brown is a big locker room chemistry addition, even though I don't think he's going to do too much on the court. I think Adelman's a good coach, and I think he showed that in the playoff last year. I think this is going to be a good, energetic team that is going to have a phenomenal season, and I do think that Jokic comes out with his second ring this year. OKC has a chance. Houston has a chance, but I think without a true PG, I can't be all in on Houston. I think OKC is going to be great, but I just don't know that they're going to be quite as hungry this year, and I just don't think I just don't know that they are going to be, and if they're not, I don't think they'll be ready for Denver. Like, Denver might come out and punch them in the mouth if OKC's not hungry and not locked in if they were to match up in the Western Conference Finals. And I also think Denver this year having more big bodies, I just think they are a better matchup for really any lineup OKC wants to put out. And then out east, there are some good teams, but I'm going to be real. If it's OKC or Denver that's in the finals, I don't think anybody out east beats them. Let me know what y'all thought about my predictions, man. I had a long video. I thought it was going to be way shorter than this, but I love it. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for watching as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to keep God first as always. All right, peace out.